Hey everybody, Andrew here, and welcome to episode 2 of Shelf Life. Now, this is a series that I plan on doing on the weekends, but consider this an early edition because I recently just saw a video that talked about boxes. And that gave me a lot of ideas and it had me thinking because, as you can see, got a lot of boxes. It's a channel called Nerd Out, K-N-E-R-D-O-U-T. There are a couple of guys that are pretty stand up, but they raised a very interesting topic that I was going to get to, but I figured, well, let's get to it now. Why not? There's no particular order. And that's about boxes. Now, a lot of collectors are mint in box collectors. They like to keep things nice and minty in their packaging. I'm not that type of a person, but there are plenty of them out there that do collect that way. And there are people like myself who appreciate the artwork and the general beauty of many of the packaging. And it's more and more becoming a lost art, to be honest with you. So it's very difficult for me to throw a lot of it away because it's like throwing away art. So I generally keep them. And sometimes I think, well, I might put this in storage, or I might move, or I might sell the darn thing. So a lot of mights, there's a lot of maybes, and I did move. I moved several years ago, almost 900 miles. That was a time where I kind of did wish I had boxes. A lot of my G1 stuff I do have original boxes for. I won't be getting rid of those because they're 30 plus years old, and it's pretty much the very first Transformers in the US, I guess, so a lot of nostalgic value, but I'm talking about the newer stuff and the stuff that's come out, I don't know, last 20 years. Do we really need the boxes? The first issue that I want to point out is boxes are not healthy. So it's a health issue. So if you're breathing that air, when you have a lot of boxes around like this, I have to vacuum a lot because I have boxes everywhere. Too many boxes. Whether they're small, big, doesn't matter. What kind of cardboard, it doesn't matter. The reason why they're not healthy is because they collect dust. They attract dust. They attract dirty air, basically. They make the air you breathe unhealthy. And it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but it's going to happen over time. So it's not good to breathe the air when you have a lot of boxes around you. That's one issue that I think is probably the biggest hitter right there. The other issue is space. You want to own the collection. Okay, you don't want the collection to own you or take over your dwelling or your garage or your attic or your basement. You want to have everything under control. That's why this whole series is about managing your collection. Managing includes the stuff that these things are packaged in. Like the Masters of the Universe stuff right there. They're with the white mailer boxes. But the packaging that they come in is rather attractive. I don't keep it. I can't. I don't have the space. I don't have the luxury. I plan on opening those up as soon as I get things organized. It's not something that I can keep, but I do keep the card backs because I throw away the bubble. I throw away the interior bubble thing that basically holds the figure. What do you need that for? But I do keep the card backs for two reasons. One, they have the bios of the characters. And two, I like the retro look of it where they basically have pictures of the other action figures available in the line. That's cool. So I keep those in a nice, neat order. I actually keep them in here. If you want to see what I do here, I should have thought of this sooner. But here's an example. I have these binders. And this might not be the right binder, but I'm just grabbing one at random. I have this for Transformers. I have this for Masters of the Universe. So, as you can see, these are the card backs for the Masters of the Universe Classics figures. I put them in plastic sleeves. And that way I can catalog them and keep them, and they're nice and organized in binders. So that's one option you can do if you like, certain aspects of the packaging or the card. You can do that with Transformers, which I do in some cases. I keep the catalogs for the G1 stuff and the instructions. So I have them all organized by type right in these binders here, these blue binders. And the purple one's there too. That's one way, rather than keeping the whole thing on card or in box, keep the part that you like the most or is most relevant to you. Now that can add up too, by the way. If you're someone who just buys, and buys, you're going to have a lot of binders. Again, it all comes down to management. Keep the ones you really, really want. I like the Marvel Legends packaging. I think they're really cool. Here's one right here. Really nice Black Panther. Nice packaging, beautifully displayed figure, nice artwork on the sides, but there's really not much to it. The bios nowadays are abysmal. They really don't tell you that much about the character. The pictures in the back aren't too bad. Of course, you have other figures in the wave, which is somewhat useful, but once you take this out, you're pretty much done. You have the option to basically cut out the back and save that, but I'm at the point where I don't even do that with these anymore because I just don't see the value. I don't collect entire waves. I just collect, like a cherry picker. I pick 1 or 2 or 3 of the ones I like, and I don't really care about the waves. I'm not really particular about the Build-A-Figures unless it's something special to me. So I chuck them. And that saves me a lot of space, a lot of agony, a lot of turmoil, and a healthier environment. And then you have these really ginormous masterpiece boxes. Some of them are absolutely epic, like this thing right here. I mean, look at the size of that styrofoam there. Huge, but the figure's huge. That's something to think about. Styrofoam is not exactly a healthy thing to have. Fans Toys likes to use them, for example, in other third-party companies. Personally, I like them, but I'd rather have the plastic clamshells like Make Toys does, for example, or Takara. The Takara Masterpiece boxes are hard to chuck, basically, because they're simply masterpieces. I don't know. There's not much of a justification there for it, but they're good-looking boxes, and they're imports. And it's not something that you can pick up, at your local Target or Walmart or something, or Toys R Us if they stay in business in the future. Hopefully they will. But in any case, like this, for example, that's a lot of Star Wars Black Series boxes. And there's more over there, and that's going to the very back of the shelf. I mean, they look good. They kind of look nice. I like the way they look, but taking them out of the box, I can fit more figures on that shelf, and I'm not breathing the cardboard dust that it accumulates, basically. Another thing is, of course, storage. You can store these things in totes, and I've done that as well. I have them in totes. Then you're coming across the problem of having, a garage full of totes, attic full, and basement, wherever you can store it. That's another thing that we have to tackle as a collector, as someone who likes to basically showcase. It doesn't even have to be toys, for that matter. It could be other things as well. I know a gun collector who has a lot of gun cases, and you've got to pick and choose what really matters to you. That, I think, is a good topic that they raised, and this is sort of my response to it, and as well as passing it along, because I think it's very relevant to this series where we don't really think about the packaging. We just wow, I got a new box, and the box is pretty, and I don't have the heart to throw it away because A, it's an import, and or B, it's expensive, and or rare, or it's special in some way. Try to prioritize. If you got to keep the card, organize it. Keep the ones that really mean something to you, like the G.I. Joe stuff where they have bios, or the Ninja Turtles, or the Masters of the Universe. It's something that we need to be conscious of, and I'm just trying to raise awareness on it. I think it's a valid point. I have a few Beast Wars stuff that I intentionally bought to keep in box. I have him both loose and minted box, in sealed box, because I like the way it's presented. I love the shiny foil there on the left side of that box. The transmetal foil. I mean, you don't have that anymore in a lot of these packagings. So I may save some of the leader class stuff, and I'll throw in the card backs in those boxes, for example. They did come in handy for moving. That's something to think about along the way, is if you want to save stuff in box, make it count, I guess. Make it something that, is sort of like, I don't want to say showcase in your collection, but something that, I guess, perhaps represents, this is how it, you would find it at Toys R Us or Walmart, for example, or Target back in the day. You're buying the toy. You're not buying the box, for the most part, in most cases. So think of it that way. You're buying it for the action figure. And if you're buying it and you feel like you're not going to keep it, then don't buy it at all. I mean, that's a topic for another story, I guess, for another episode, I guess. But I was talking about intent in episode 1. Don't buy it because, hey, I'm going to sell this down the road. I'm going to keep the box. I would keep the box for maybe, let's say, 3 months. If you still like the figure and you like it enough that you decide that it's going to be part of your permanent collection, chuck the box. Unless that box has some sort of special circumstance to you. That's probably another idea that you can probably use. Now, I'm not telling you to throw all your stuff away. I'm just saying if you're like me and you're trying to make decisions, I'm just trying to throw out ideas. And I'm just trying to brainstorm with you. And I'm sure not all of us will have the same conclusions and the same actions. We may vary in how we decide to organize our collection. But that's the best part of this thing is there's different ways to do it, and each of us have different sizes of collections. Each of us have different variations. Some of us collect maybe one line only. Some people collect a bunch of lines, and some people are anywhere in between. Lots of cool things are going to be happening within the next few weeks. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Promote my channel. I can really use your help. Things are pretty dire on YouTube. I hope to keep my monetization if possible. I'm so close, so close. I don't know if I'm going to make it or not, but whatever the case may be, it's not going to stop me from making videos. I will continue. That's basically about it in this episode. Thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. Spread the word. I'll see you guys next time. Later.